All right, Dan. Oops. All right, Dan, thanks for joining us on the Culture and People podcast.
Thank you so much, Anna. Good to be here.
Great. All right. So in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Dan Mahle. I'm the founder of Wholehearted Masculine, a social enterprise focusing on supporting leaders and teams to cultivate healthy masculinity and gender equity in the workplace and beyond. And we offer executive men's coaching as well as men's and all gender workshops to support culture change from the inside out.
Oh, I love that. Look, my personal mission is to restore humanity into our work and workplaces. And so anything that meets us where we're at, I love. So good. Cool for you. What's the best thing about working in this sort of people and culture space?
Well, I think it's these spaces where change happens. And it's so exciting to be a part of a culture and an organization that is really wrestling with how they want to grow and who they want to be. And, we live in a very individualistic society. So we're often thinking about self-help and self-growth, but cultures are a collection of individuals and all of our stories and experiences combined. And there's such an opportunity for us to do deep, transformative learning together in that kind of environment that isn't possible when we're just doing that alone.
Agreed. There's power in numbers, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. So I'm hearing from other top HR and people leaders that engaging employees is a challenge. What are your thoughts?
Oh, heck yeah. It's definitely a challenge. I mean, we all have such diverse backgrounds and experiences and, we might say baggage that we bring with us to our roles and to our workplaces. And in many ways, you could even use the word trauma. A lot of us have had challenging situations where we've left organizations or been fired or, just had some sort of a chip on our shoulder. And it's hard to do the healing work around that. And as an HR leader, I served as head of talent and culture for a storytelling technology company for 2.5 years. And it's really challenging to help your team. It was challenging for me to help my team navigate the constant change and disruption that's so common in that environment. And to really try to bring, as you talk about, the humanity back in to the workplace, even as we're moving at such a cutthroat pace.
Yeah, it's so true. I think even more now, right? We're in the middle of COVID as we're recording. And so talk about rapid change for people.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what advice would you share with other organizations or leaders working in this HR or people operations space?
Well, I think it's challenging to be in the HR function because the balance is always between supporting and taking a stand for your people and supporting, the well-being of the organization, right? And in some ways being the liaison to leadership. And that can sometimes present conflicts, it's not always easy to stand in the middle. Oftentimes we don't get credit and we also get blame.
Mm-hmm.
and that can be hard. And it can feel like we're a little bit in the crossfire of the inevitable change and disruption that's happening all around us. And I think my advice is focus on the human, the people around you, focus on who we are and our stories. One of the things that was super inspiring for me about being part of this organization that I just have completed with is we focused on storytelling. And oftentimes when I talk to people, they don't even know a whole lot about their teams. They don't know about the people they work with every day. And there's this huge missed opportunity to build deep connection and bond with each other through sharing our stories. And that's what gets me really excited is how can we just share stories and witness each other's stories so that we feel connected and invested in our collective success.
I think there's such power in storytelling. I was reading, I think it's Udemy that did the study for 2020, and this was before COVID, but storytelling was like the number 6 skill of 2020. It's a big one. Do you have any tips for people in terms of how to create more opportunities for storytelling during this time of virtual, maybe not virtual, maybe combination?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that we did that I really suggest is just having a few prompts. So as an HR leader, what are a couple prompts that invite people into a depth of sharing that may not be the usual day-to-day level? So it could be something like share a story about your family, or share a story about why you do the work you do today, or share a story about somebody who believed in you, maybe even before you believed in yourself. And what's really amazing about these prompts is that something even that simple can spark real depth and vulnerability that lead to these really strong bonds, even from a distance, even when we feel so isolated.
Agreed. I asked my team the other day, slightly joking, slightly not. I said, who has cried in the shower alone this week? And, as much as I was sort of tongue in cheeking it, it did create an opportunity of vulnerability for us to just start talking about the goods and the bads of what's happening in our season right now. So, right. Great tips on storytelling. So what other HR or people ops leaders like yourself would you like to acknowledge as a leader or should be invited to be a guest on the podcast?
Well, somebody that I have deep respect for and actually had the opportunity to hire and work with in my last organization is Michael O. And he has a long career in HR and people operations, and he served as our director of people operations at Avanoo. So I definitely suggest connecting with him. And then I also have another suggestion, a man named Christian Anabaro, who does consulting in this space and has also himself sort of served in the HR and people ops space internally. And he's just a brilliant thinker and supporter of thriving organizational culture. Those would be my two initial recommendations.
That's great. Yeah. When people hear this on LinkedIn, they can go search for those people and expand their network for HR people ops leaders. So thank you for that. So tell us about your best experience working in HR or with people.
Well, my favorite experiences always involve laughter. I think what's so hard to replicate virtually is the kind of, water cooler talk, like in the office, just knocking on your door or telling a joke. And I miss that. I think many of us do. And there's something that's hard to translate about kind of the fullness of our humanity, our humanness, and the virtual setting. And so I think my favorite moments there've been moments where we've made mistakes, and then we've just had to kind of laugh at them because we didn't know any better. And of course we were learning and growing. And so just that recognition in the moment that we're perfectly imperfect has been really valuable to me and helped me feel really connected with my team, rather than pretending like we need to be perfect and get it right all the time, because no one does.
Yeah, I like that. Perfectly imperfect. Oh, well, awesome. Well, Dan, we did it. We did it in less than 10 minutes. Thank you for being a guest on the Culture and People podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.